Gareth Bale, as we know, the talisman for Wales. When he finally decides to hang up his boots on an international stage, how big a miss will he be?
Huge, absolutely huge, because I think he's carried this team for so long, and you look at the key moments when Wales have qualified for major tournaments over the past 6 years. Gareth Bale has been central to those, and you think he scored the goals against Austria in the playoff semi-final, and then his free kick was deflected in against Ukraine to get Wales to the World Cup, and he is the player who, I don't think he's world class anymore, but he's capable of world class moments. And that's what you need in World Cups. You need somebody who is capable of delivering that big moment, and Gareth Bale could do that for Wales at some stage. Aaron Ramsey, I think, is in a similar category. They're two players who are having to manage their fitness these days. Of course, Ramsey hasn't played every week for Nice in Ligue 1 this season, but he has been back in the team recently. But Ramsey, again, if Ramsey plays as he did against Turkey in Baku in the Euros last year, he could play for any team in the tournament. But Wales are relying on these players to click, and if they don't click, then they could have problems.
I was saying to some friends before I came out here, Nigel, and we were talking about players, their conditioning, where they are, and how fit, how many minutes can they play. I was saying, look, let's make it clear, right? You're at a World Cup. The adrenaline will take you way further than anything else, because you get that opportunity to play. You don't need motivation. It's the biggest stage you'll ever play on. So when you play, your adrenaline takes you faster, further, quicker. You're just doing everything that, you know, if you was in the Monday league game where you might be thinking, I'm not quite at it, or things are not working, adrenaline will take you everywhere in a World Cup. And
for these Wales players as well, you never know, this might be their only World Cup in their careers. I mean, it's taken them 64 years to get to another one. And we've spoken about the great players that missed out. So you've got to make the most of this opportunity. Absolutely. Starting tomorrow against the USA, this is their time. It has to be their time.
Oh, absolutely. And one thing that we don't look at, because there's a 4-year distance, which is a huge space of time between this World Cup and the next one, you know, it might be Harry Kane's last World Cup. We might say, well, no, it's not. He can still play in 4 years' time. But football moves really quickly, and international football does. There's no guarantee that Harry Kane will be playing in the next World Cup. There's not just the older players, it's players in their late 20s who might not get, and even younger, that might not get that opportunity.
So USA tomorrow night for Wales. How do you expect Rob Page will set up his Wales side? Will he traditionally likes a back three? Is that the same sort of thing you expect?
I think he will do that. I think it's a 3-4-3. I mean, clearly Joe Allen will be a huge miss, because he's been part of that holy trinity of Allen, Bale and Ramsey, which has carried the Wales team to 3 of the last 4 major tournaments, but he can't play. He's nowhere near fit, and I think they're hoping to maybe get him in some sort of shape to play some sort of part in the England game. So there'll be big responsibility, I think, on Ethan Ampadu to try and be that midfield enforcer alongside Aaron Ramsey. The wing-backs, of course, will always have a key role. Nico Williams and Connor Roberts, they will have to try and get forward as much as they can. And then whether he will go for Brennan Johnson or Daniel James as one of the wide players, with Gareth Bale in support of Kiefer Moore. So there are options. We talk about a lack of depth for Wales, and there's no doubt they do have a shallower pool of talent compared to many nations, but Rob Page has always got 1 or 2 conundrums to think about. And I think getting that attacking blend right will be very important. I mean, I don't think he can think about resting players, or maybe thinking about, we'll save him for Iran, we'll maybe think about him for the England game. They've got to get it right against the USA. I think they've got to win this game tomorrow night, because it could end up being a very tight group. We assume that England may go on and pick up maximum points. Of course, we don't know at this stage. So there could be a real scramble for the other qualification place. And getting a win very quickly will be so key to that, because by the time Wales play tomorrow night, who knows? Iran might have ground out a 0-0 with England, and that changes the complexion of the group completely. We just don't know. So I think that all Wales can do is take care of their own business, and that means winning tomorrow night. But I don't think it will be easy, because the US have got a number of players who missed out on playing 4 years ago in 2018, and they will have special motivation to take care of some unfinished business.
Yeah.
We had that little piece earlier with the players' last tournaments, and we just touched on it. Anyone that really you're excited to see, Nigel, that you're thinking this is the final chance?
Well, Messi, of course.
Yeah.
It's all about Messi, I think, and I think Argentina have a very good chance of winning this tournament, having won the Copa America, and Messi finally taking an international honour in the latter days of his career. Of course, he's playing very well for Paris Saint-Germain. We are commentating to get on together on Tunisia against France later on in the group stage. You can't not be excited about seeing Mbappe play if he's involved in that game. And of course, Cristiano Ronaldo, he's now in the shop window, so I'm sure he will see him play well.
It's a big shop.
Yes.
You said there about Argentina being one of the favourites. Are they your favourites? Have you selected a team that you think can do it?
I'm thinking Argentina.
Yeah.
I think the pressure always builds on Brazil in major tournaments, and I think that Argentina, you look at their record, 36 games unbeaten
incredible.
Coming into this tournament. They're going to set potentially a new record later on in this group stage, and it's incredible. Lionel Scaloni came in. He was the previous assistant to Jorge Sampaoli, and we remember him as a fairly average left back for West Ham a few years ago. He was outshone by Dean Ashton in that team, but he's done a brilliant job, and he's just basically brought all the egos together and calmed everything down. And I think that, as we saw with England 4 years ago, the quiet man as a coach can often be the best sort of coach in a tournament like this.
We saw them in the summer, didn't we? Beating Italy in
the finalissima.
At Wembley, and they were way better, way ahead of the Italians at that particular game. I did think Otamendi at the back might be an issue, because Romero and Otamendi's looks like you can catch him at times. You can get him behind him, which was the one thorn in the side. I thought that was where Italy could make a difference in the game.
But they've also got Di Maria potentially playing in his last World Cup.
Yeah.
And he's often produced some of his best football in World Cups for Argentina going down the years. And I think both Messi and Di Maria could be on a mission the longer this tournament goes on.
All right, so Argentina, your favourites then for this one. Just to wrap it up, how far do you think England can go? Because you've covered England as well.
I was the correspondent for talkSPORT back in 2018, and we were having very similar conversations before that tournament that we're having now. If they can just get out of the group, and then we'll see what happens. But if England get momentum, anything is possible. I think they could go a long way into this tournament. But we're talking about the importance of the first game for Wales. I think the same is for England. You think back 4 years ago, they beat Tunisia. In the last minute of that game, they were heading for a draw, which would have been a really poor result. Harry Kane popped up from a set piece. They won that game, and they moved on from it very quickly. And I think it's such a big day tomorrow on talkSPORT, with England and Wales playing their first games. And I think we're just hoping that we just get 2 wins and everybody feeds off that.
Yeah, indeed. Well, it's Nigel, thank you for coming in. I know you're heading down to training once again for Wales, are you? Or?
Yeah, we've got training, and Gareth Bale and Aaron Ramsey didn't train yesterday, so we'll be interested to see if they are on the pitch today.
It's same time training as the game tomorrow, is it?
They are training at 10:30 UK time, which is the match is at 10 o'clock in the evening here, local time tomorrow night. So I don't think they get the training ground. I think the floodlights are turned off before then.
But some teams are adjusting their sessions.
Some teams that we done that.
kickoffs.
We adjusted to different times, and we play. I can remember training at weird times and thinking, well, yeah, it's all related to the game.
They've been training at sunset at the moment because it's simply been too hot for them earlier on in the day. But during this hot snap around Doha, but they'll be changing their schedule because it's an early kick-off, 10 a.m. UK time for the Iran game, so they're moving everything earlier in the day, and they'll have to get used to the very warm temperatures once again, because at the training ground it is very open. There is no shade on that pitch at all, so the players will be feeling it in the build-up to the second game.